The following is an exclusive production of Minuteman Command. The Flagship Pod with your hosts, ESPN personalities Mike Corey and Rene is on the air. Brought to you by Todd Fritz Roofing with insight and info from UMass and MAC insiders. From the Command Studios, here are your hosts, Mike and Rene.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the show. And look at this. For the second consecutive week, Christian filling in. He filled in for me last week, filling in for Rene this week. How you doing, man?
Good. I'm on vacation. I'm on vacation from travel baseball this week.
Yeah, so, you've been all over the place. What's going on with that? It's your son, of course, right? I feel like every week you're doing something.
Yeah, 16 years old, going to be a junior in high school, playing baseball. It's travel baseball on the weekends, which means Thursday to Tuesday. So you get a day and a half maybe to catch up on some work, and then you're back again. But this week we're off. Well, our family's off, so I'm on vacation.
That's good. That's good. Well, speaking of vacation, that's why Rene's not here. So everybody see this video? Here's what Rene's doing right now.
All right, I had to make a command decision. I'm on the Royal Caribbean, Wonder of the Seas, about to hit the Eastern Caribbean, St. Thomas, St. Martin. So no Flagship Pod for me this week. We're going to let Christian McCollum fill in with Mike Corey. Maybe I'll jump on. Maybe, a little surprise appearance. You never know, but I think I'm going to relax this week. So no Flagship Pod, but watch it, enjoy it, and go UMass.
Surprise appearance. What's he talking about? He's got a drink. I think he bought the drink package. He told me. He's like,
nice.
We're going to call him right now, then. We're going to do the video.
Yeah, he doesn't even know we're recording, so surprise. Let's see if he answers.
Let's see if he comes up. No, he's not picking up.
He's busy living the life. I told him after he told you that story about flying first class and leaving his wife and coach, I said, you can't jump on the podcast from the ship.
Yeah, look at this. Come on. Yeah, he's not picking up. All right. Well, we'll see if he calls us back during the middle of the show. But, yeah, he's having fun. Look, I had a great week last week. I've been very fortunate. Got the chance to go down to Florida, play a little golf with my buddy Matt, a great friend of mine from Brattleboro, where I grew up. Went to the TPC Sawgrass. We played the Dye Valley course first, and then we played TPC Sawgrass Tuesday, and then played the Dye Valley course again on Wednesday. But all we're looking forward to, right? Well, everybody wants to play this hole, the 17th hole, right? There it is, right? The Island Green at Sawgrass. It is beautiful. I mean, it's pretty amazing, and it's a little deceiving too. So that's from the back. So obviously you tee off over on the right-hand side if you're looking at this, and then you walk around, and then you go up the back to get to the green. But, when you see this next shot, my friend Matt took the video of me with the shot of mine on this, you don't even see the water there on the left. That's the back. So you just see, the front of the green. You think, okay, but obviously there's water all around it. But here's the shot.
Oh, nice shot!
That was pure.
It worked. I didn't have a great overall score, but there's where the ball landed. And I wish we got the video of it, because other people on Facebook and Twitter, they're like, "Where's the video of the putt?"
I know you made the birdie, right?
Got a birdie, yeah. I got a birdie on number 17 at TPC Sawgrass. I mean, it's crazy because they said how half the pros are hitting it in the water, and I'm like, okay, it was a 117, I think 117, 120 yards. But anyway, it was fun. So that's what I did this past week.
I'm terrible at golf. My wife got me clubs years ago as a wedding present, and I took the game up and I really loved it. I'm bad, right? Bad. I barely break 100, and I can drive a little bit. And so one time at the local Muni, there's a drivable par 4, and I drove it probably to about this distance from the cup. And my buddy goes, "You can't leave the eagle putt short," right? Dude, forget about I made bogey, I think, on the hole. Okay? That's how bad I am.
It's tough. I know. I had that too. I had that a couple of times this week where you get up there in 2, and then it takes 4 shots to get in. It's not, but it was fun. It was great. Very hot, but a good time. So,
awesome.
That was me last week. Rene's on a cruise this week. We'll both be back together next week. But thanks again for filling in, Christian. We got a lot going on this past week too. So the big thing with the video game coming out, right? The EA College Football 26. What do you say? Why is it 26? It's like when the new cars come out. Like we're going to the 25 season here.
Yeah. I think it started years ago when NBA Live 95 came out. I think they marketed just because the rhyming there in 94, and that's how it's been ever since. But man, what a game, right? Like I grew up, like I think people of a certain age, my age, like we just like were really into video games, and even in college, like we played video games for hours and hours in JA Tower, right? Just nonstop. Yeah. And then obviously the college games had to stop with the Ed O'Bannon case. These kids weren't getting paid. They were pretending like they weren't using them, even though they just had their names on there. It'd be like, Ed O'Bannon was like number 31 for UCLA, and he looked just like him. Just a joke. But they came back with them last year. Now that we have NIL, and the kids get paid a little bit of money, and it's awesome. I played it all last year, and the new game just came out yesterday. I was able to fight off my urge and get a lot of work done before I jumped on it, but Mike, it's awesome, right? It is awesome. I played with UMass. Okay. All the guys are in the game, right? We can quabble a little bit with the depth chart. They do have, Grant Jordan's a starting quarterback. We'll see if that ends up being the case, but it's cool. You play at McGurk. It's McGurk. You know what I mean? Like you're there. You're right there. They have, the Jacobson Performance Center in one end zone. They're playing the songs. You'll be excited, Mike, because the stadium's packed.
That's good. Yeah, well, that's what we need, right? It can't just be in a freaking video game, right? You have to have that in real life, actually, guys. So that's pretty cool, though. And like I was asking you before, like, how do they get all the guys, with all the portal and everybody transferring coming in? I guess they got to wait right to the last minute, right? Like set it all up and then pop the names in, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they try to wait as long as they can. They can only wait so long. I don't know. Obviously, they had this BYU quarterback transfer after his honor code violation. I've seen different, reports on whether he's with BYU in the game or not. So that's there. It's pretty cool. But, well, you guys did the magazine thing, right? So like you were talking about the magazines.
Yeah.
This is kind of like my version of the magazine. And if you're a UMass fan and you play the game, just play a season. You want to find out how these teams are going to be, they're going to play. Like play a season with them, and you'll find out what the opponents are. I'll tell you this, Buffalo's quarterback's pretty damn good.
See, this is crazy. I know. You know what it should be? Like, it's all on the internet and stuff now. I feel like it should almost be done in real time. Like, it
will be. It is. And you know what they do? It's even better, Mike. They'll update players as they go.
That's
what I mean. Better.
Right. They update it. Like all of a sudden, the running back for UMass is averaging 95 yards a game. What they updated his numbers, his performance increases. Yeah. So it's going to be like a real time thing now, right? I mean, that's how it is now.
I don't know how often they update it. It might be like the rosters get updated once a month in terms of like performance and stuff like that, but they do that. It is really cool. And if you like video games and you like UMass football, it is worth, diving in. And if you want to just see the season, play a season, or if you want to pretend you're Joe Harris-Simiak and you're building a program, you can do that. There's recruiting involved, Mike. You can really listen, I'm going to say this, okay? I haven't told anybody this because it only happened about 12 hours ago.
Yeah.
But I purchased tutorial schemes and plays, and there's YouTube videos. Listen, I got in this league last year somehow, and it's a bunch of kids that just graduated college, and they just kick my ass. I've never won. So now I signed up. I put some money down. I think it was $50. I got a coach basically, showing me how to run each play, the best plays. Wow. These 24-year-olds got something. Something's coming. They're not ready.
You're going to be on the real staff pretty soon. Actually, you're going to be doing this and then really calling plays. That's awesome. Yeah. So grab the video game. That'll be fun. Hey, we're in the middle of Prime Days right now with Amazon. Make sure you buy all your stuff on Amazon, July 8th through the 11th. So that's what I had to do this morning. I'm like, my wife's like, oh yeah, it's Prime. I'm like, I understand it's Prime Day. We'll get it. I'm doing the show and then we'll get the Prime Days. Anyway, but hey, let's get an update here on what's going on. I mean, every time I turn around, I'm seeing you guys with emails out of I'm looking a lot. I see a lot of 2026. So let's start there. How does the future, look? I mean, in terms of there was an offensive lineman potential recruit, I think you put out yesterday or today. What's going on in the 2026? I'm seeing a lot of that.
Yeah, so UMass, they had a couple official visit weekends last month, and they were extremely productive, like to the point where, like, if you're starting to follow this a little closer and you follow recruiting, do not expect these kind of official visit weekends. It's very rare to go into a weekend and come out with like 10 of 12 visitors. That just doesn't happen.
Hmm.
But they are building this class. They had a pretty good foundation. They put themselves in position with a lot of these kids that come up for June officials, and they were able to close. And, if you think, I don't know, they probably closed on 75% of the kids that came in. And your thought process is, man, they must be really pressuring these kids, right? Absolutely the opposite. I've had a lot of kids tell me, a lot of other schools have been like, you got to commit, you got to be in, we want to know. And they told me Coach Harris-Simiak was the exact opposite of that. I know this is a tough decision for you. I don't want you to do anything, rash. I want you to talk to your parents about it. I want you to think about it. I want you to be all in when you make the decision if you choose UMass. And kids found that so refreshing. And it kind of just is another thing that shows them that he actually cares about them as people. He's not trying to trick them into a decision and now make it difficult. That's not what he's doing. And kids and families are seeing that. And it's really, really making a difference.
It's great insight, and I'm glad you said that because, like, that's the thing. Like, you think about it, and it's like it's not just a recruiting or football. It could be like a life thing, right? You're out there, you're like, oh, I really need this. I really no. Hey, look, we're good. We'd love to have you. Like this is what we're doing. Like you act like you've been there and you got your shit together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like a groveling like we got to have you. No, and then I think you're right. The players look at that and say, yeah. This is actually something I want to be a part of, not like, oh, like I'm doing them a favor. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you can't look at it that way. It's like, what are we going to do for you? Yeah, we know they're going to be a great player and provide, excellent play, hopefully on the field, but it's like, well, what are we going to do for them? So like, I'm with you. I'm that's why I think we're so excited about him and the staff and the direction and the approach that they're taking. Anything else that you've been kind of like that you've gathered from him? Like,
we can let's take a brief kind of high level view of the class right now. Obviously, for me, it always starts at quarterback, right? And I say always, depending on your roster, your situation, you're not always going to be in the market to get an elite quarterback just realistically. But where UMass is right now, they are, and they want a stud, and they narrowed their focus on one guy, New Jersey's Tyler Bell, and that's the guy they got. He's probably a little under recruited because of his height. He's probably about 6 foot. But we've said it time and time. This kid's from New Jersey powerhouse program, St. Peter's Prep, same school as Minka Fitzpatrick.
Right.
He's athletic. He can make the throws. He's smart. He can read it. And he's got that thing I like about quarterbacks where he's charismatic. He's confident. He's certain of himself, but he's not cocky. No cockiness about him. He's not going to rub anyone the wrong way. And that's just kind of like kind of one of the faces of the class. It's really important to have a guy like that. And especially when you're recruiting New Jersey, trust me, there's kids that are freshman, sophomore right now in New Jersey at these big time schools. And they're like, oh, Tyler Bell's going to UMass. Like that's instant credibility for those guys.
Right. Then that's a great point. When somebody does that, then everybody takes notice of that. Like, oh, this guy's awesome. And he's going to go there. Okay, let me take a look at this. And the other thing is too, I was talking to somebody else about this. You got to be recruiting the top players. I know even you think like, now look, I get it. If it's like a top 25 or 30 or whatever in the nation, Alabama and Clemson, they're probably getting them. But I'm just saying, go after them because if they do go to those bigger time schools and it doesn't work out, obviously, you're going to get them in the back end. We've seen that so many times. Like if you don't recruit and put the time in, even though you think like, we're probably not going to get this guy, you might get them on the back end, right? How many times have we seen that?
100%. And they are doing just that. Back in May, there was a showcase of all the best schools in Connecticut and Massachusetts. UMass was in attendance, and it's everyone from Division III prospects to high-level Power 5 guys. And like you said, UMass, I've seen their coaches, they're recruiting those guys with that in mind. So the other thing about the class right now, they got some game breakers, right? You really want to have those guys that can bring that added juice. Go take a look at DC running back TK Davis's film, right? This guy, he can score from anywhere on the field. He's a special teams guy, running back guy. He can do it. He's got that juice. Then you look at Illinois wide receiver Kai Owens, big body guy, can stretch the field. He might not be a true burner, but he can really get vertical. And then you have a Kentucky cornerback, Corey Warner. Another he's like the highest rated guy UMass has gotten in a very, very long time. Right? That doesn't mean that he's going to be the best player or anything like that. It just shows you that they're elevating the level of the guys they're looking at coming at. And the linemen, I kind of stay away from like evaluating the linemen. I don't know too much about that, but I know this. I know Kurt Anderson knows what he's doing. I know Naeem Wortman and Kay Whitaker know what they're doing, and they're bringing in some big dudes that can play on both sides of the ball. So that'll be good.
Well, and we're gonna get them on too. I want to talk to them because like that's where it's going to start, right? We already know that's how football, right? It's defensive line, it's offensive line. Because you could talk all you want about awesome quarterbacks, running backs, skilled receivers. If we don't have a good line and those players aren't effective, it doesn't even matter. So it's like I want to, in the future pods here before we get to the season, kind of dive in and really go through that offensive line because I think that's going to be a huge key factor if this team wants to be successful this year. So. Good point on that. And then, like in terms of the recruiting of the high level players, but also high character guys too. Like you cannot just overshoot that. I mean, that's been kind of an issue with some of these things. Like if you don't have a guy who's all in or cares or is a good locker room guy, I don't care how good he is. I mean that could be damaging, right? I mean, or I'm all with the money. So like they seem like it's been pretty good right now with getting that combination, figured out.
Listen, I think people in New England will be upset with what I'm about to say, but that's not the way that North Carolina is going to do it under Bill Belichick, right? Not that they're going to bring in the worst guys, but it's not a primary focus. They're looking at bringing the portal. Come on, we're going to give you money. We're going to show you how to get to the league. That's the idea at North Carolina. Maybe it'll work for them. It could work for them. That is not what Joe Harris-Simiak is doing, and it's not just lip service. I've said this before. I talk to these kids and their parents after they recruit after the visits. It's all-encompassing. They don't even have to preach it to them. Those families can feel it. And the thing that matters most is once you create that culture, then it kind of self-selects. So now when you have other kids come in to visit, they see the kids that are being recruited, the kids that are on the roster, the families that are there. Now you know the culture, and people that don't belong in that culture are not going to be attracted to it, and the people that do will.
Right. And I've always talked about kind of like flipping the percentages. If you got 80, 90% of the guys that are all in that are like that, and then you have another 5 or 10 that aren't, they're gone and they'll kick them out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's the other way, half and half, where you can't even get a base going, and then that's where your team just kind of falls apart. So I think hopefully we've pushed it to the 80, 90%, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they kind of police themselves, right? I mean, you don't have to go in the locker room and be like, hey, come on, guys, like, no, you need players to do that. So it sounds like hopefully they're getting a few of those guys.
Geographically, that kind of goes with the geographic thing I was going to say is like they want to own New England, Massachusetts, but like they won't say this, but I'll say it. Like that really goes to like New England, especially Connecticut. So you get some good guys from Massachusetts, good guys from Connecticut. I mentioned New Jersey. Those schools down there are that culture. They already have that. St. Peter's Prep, Bergen Catholic, Don Bosco. They already have that culture. So you recruit that area, and then they're doing things nationally. I mentioned TK Davis from D.C., Corey Warner's from Connecticut. They brought the receivers from Illinois. They got a kid from Michigan. And like you said before, they're going international. They got a kid from Canada. They got a kid from Finland. So they're not searching from a small little pot. So they're going to get the best fits for them.
That's right. And I mean, and that's the thing. Like, and the guys from Australia, you know what I mean, are kickers. Mm-hmm. So we're good. We're in good shape there. A lot of good stuff going on, not just this year, but for next year, like you said. July 19th, I believe, is Mac Media Day coming up. So this is airing on the 9th. So that's 10 days away, which is crazy. That we're getting ready for Temple. I don't know. Like you said, you're a little bit of a vacation this week, but like before you know it, we are kicking this ball off, man. I mean, it is coming up fast.
Yeah. So, I mean, a couple weeks after Media Day, when we kind of get a flush of information, not just from UMass, but from the other, schools they'll be playing against, it'll be time for a camp, right? And we're going to find out. And obviously, almost every camp, unless there's an entrenched starting quarterback, the biggest story is going to be quarterback. And for UMass right now, after getting a chance to see, AJ and Grant in the spring, it's going to be about Brandon Rose. How healthy is Brandon Rose? How good does he look? I've kind of said it before. I think if he's healthy, I think he's going to probably be the guy. That's just my opinion. And I think if he's the guy and he's healthy, based on what I saw from AJ and Grant in the spring, which was very good, if he can beat those guys out, that's going to say a lot for that position and possibly for the success of UMass this season.
Coming up on some of our future shows, we'll have a bunch of players on too. We'll get to some of the coaches. Of course, we'll talk to Coach Harasimiak. We'll get that going as we near opening day versus Temple, which should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. And Rene's back next week. Christian, thanks so much for jumping in here again. Hey, any final things before we wrap it up this week? What's going on? What's coming up this week for you? I know you're off, but
I think that we might have some more news on the recruiting front here, possibly from someone that one of your guys' favorite guys, Joe Castellito, has been recruiting. So I think he might get some good news here on the recruiting front, which will be pretty interesting. And I know Tommy and Dave Bowden are working on trying to get some command breakdowns to look at some of the guys they already have added in this 26 class. And if you got some free time, like I found some free time this weekend, pick up a video game, play with UMass, do a season, do a dynasty, and see how good you can do.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get on that. We'll recap that and we'll keep this going, man. And you guys are doing a great job. MinutemanCommand.com, just building it up. We're just getting it going, and I can't wait for this season to start because we're gonna have a lot of great stuff on there. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Like I say all the time, you guys know, I tell you guys all the time, the only thing that I don't like about hosting the show is I don't get to see you and Rene go back and forth.
Well, you can watch yourself go back and forth now, you and me. Right? But we'll let you take a break after this week, and we'll get back on it together. Rene will be back next week, and we'll do it again same time. Thanks so much for watching, Christian. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you guys soon.